Good evening.
Good evening.
It is my pleasure on behalf of the Franklin City School Board to welcome all of you to our April meeting. And we're so glad to see so many of you here with us this evening. We're delighted that we're able to meet here at J.P. King. Just a wonderful facilities. We've been doing that for our last two meetings now, going into our schools to effect your presence with us as we meet monthly. And next month, I think that we'll likely be at Franklin High School. So we're looking forward to going there as well. So we do welcome all of you this evening. At this time, we shall begin our meeting by asking a student from J.P. King and whomever is going to introduce the student to come forward.
Ms. Francis asked three of our robotics students from J.P. King to do the pledge.
Yes.
We've got Reuben Leonard, Josh Johnson, and Devlin Moody, all 8th graders here at J.P. King.
Would everyone please stand for the pledge? Thank you so much, students. And I'm assuming that these are students of the robotics team. Is that not, Mrs. Burgess? Students of the robotics team? Wonderful. And the students at J.P. King. Thank you so much. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Nancy Godwin, Donna Walton, Will Council, Edna King,
Here.
Jeanette Austin, Dr. Andrea Hall Leonard.
Here. Thank you so much. Right? Motion now to come out of closed session.
Whereas the Franklin City School Board has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and whereas Section 2.2-3712D of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by this school board that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now therefore be it resolved that the Franklin City School Board hereby certifies that, to the best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully accepted by Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting to which this certification applies, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered.
It's properly moved in second that the Franklin City School Board has convened in a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and whereas Section 2.2-3712D of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by this school board that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now therefore be it resolved that the Franklin City School Board certifies that each member, according to his or her knowledge, only acted on those two specified things in this motion. You've heard the motion. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion is carried. The next item on our agenda is that of motions from closed session.
Yes, Madam Chairman, I make a motion to add the approval of the personnel agenda and also approval for hearing of officers.
Could we take one at a time, please?
Yes, I make
So-
a motion to add the approval of the personnel agenda.
It has been properly moved in second that we approve the recommended personnel agenda that was forwarded to us by the superintendent. You've heard the motion. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion is carried. Another motion from closed session.
Yes, Madam Chairman, I make a motion to approve the hearing of officers to be added to the agenda.
It's properly moved in second that we approve the recommended hearing officers. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion is carried. Thank you. Good news. Okay. Certification of the board. Okay. Approval of the agenda. Okay. Approval of the agenda.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Properly moved in second that we approve the agenda as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion is carried. So don't have any additions or deletions from the agenda. Good news.
Madam Chair, board members, tonight, the first point of emphasis under our good news is special recognition to our robotics team. Our robotics team has been doing some outstanding work this school year as well as other school years. So we wanted to take the opportunity to recognize these students ranging from elementary to high school for their outstanding commitment to excellence. At this time, I would like Ms. Burgess to come forward, if you would, Ms. Burgess, and introduce your team.
Good evening. I'm Liz Burgess. I am a teacher here at the Franklin City Public Schools. I do oversee the First Lego League team and the First Robotics team, the First Lego League at the elementary school, and the robotics team at the high school. I do want to tell you that FIRST, which stands for Inspiration and Recognition of Science and Technology, is a program geared to encourage students to become interested in STEM and also to encourage teamwork, cooperation, and just the entire spirit of gracious professionalism. Each one is going to say just a really brief bit of information about their program, and so we certainly thank you. At the end, we apologize for having to leave. We do have a robot we're having to build, so we certainly thank you for having us. Before I leave, I also want to say how wonderful my mentors are. I have some stellar mentors, one of whom is here, Hank Mummert. The others are unable to be here tonight. Hank has been with me since we started the program in 2005. He works for VA East and comes throughout the robotics season from Norfolk straight to competition, as well as the two other gentlemen we have. I also want to tell you that I have some wonderful, very supportive parents, and I can't tell you how grateful I am for all of the help that they provide as well. And then on top of that, for the support that you all give the program, providing us the financial support, and then the use of that Charles Street gym, which we are extremely grateful for. So I'd like to introduce you to my First Lego League kids. I have Tessa Darden, Katie Ross, Mary Connor, Markeelan Finner, and Connor Carmelovich, and they'd like to say a few words.
Our topic this year was world-class learning around the world. We had to create a project that was innovative and would help people learn. We had a contest idea for measuring, but a week and a half before competition, we changed the idea to something more innovative.
Congratulations. Great job, well done.
Good job, good job. Excellent.
And now I'd like to introduce the robotics team. They are consisting from 8th grade on up to 11th grade. I've got Ruben Leonard, Donald Winterstein, Josh Johnson, Devlin Moody, Sarah Connors, Cindy Mitrovic, and Ryan Godwin.
Every year we have 6 weeks to build a robot. Starting today. We get a game January. And we go to the middle of February. We went to 2 competitions this year by the funding that we got, various fundraisers, grants and whatnot from the school. We went to Richmond for our regional Virginia, and we went to Chesapeake, Maryland, where University of Maryland is, for our Maryland regional, and we won the Virginia regional that sent us to the international competition, and we got runner-up at the Maryland regional. So it was pretty good.
Excellent.
Hi. Yeah, so he mentioned that we went to both Richmond and to Maryland. If you'll take notice, that is our website right there. That was our alliance. We competed with 2 other teams. This program puts a lot of emphasis on teamwork and working with others. We placed first in Virginia, our home state, and we placed second in Maryland, which is not our home state, obviously. This is my co-operator. We drive the robot, and so far this has been an extremely successful season. The reason we're having to leave the meeting actually is to go make modifications to our practice robot in order to prepare for St. Louis, which we will be attending next week and representing Franklin City Public Schools in St. Louis, Missouri.
I do want to add one caveat. When we went to Richmond, we have been competing there for years, but we won for 3 straight years in a row, and we're the second robot team to ever have done that in the history of FIRST in the state of Virginia. So we're very, very proud of that. If you all have any questions, we'll be happy to answer them. And again, thank you very much for your support.
Ms. Burgess, I think it's important to note that we're a school of 1,100 students, and we're competing against schools with 3,000 students, but yet we still bring home the trophy. So very good job.
I would also like to add that Franklin City Public Schools might be put into first history because we are the first and the last team that will ever have the opportunity to win the Virginia Regional 3 times in a row, because from this year forward there will no longer be regionals. We are changing the system to something called districts. So we're the last ones. That's it.
I want to add one thing, Mrs. Burgess. Of course, we appreciate everything that you and all of your partnering agencies and individuals do for us with these students. But the students deserve a great deal of appreciation because we have a team that's larger than some of the larger high schools. My daughter is a robotics sponsor in her high school, large high school, and her major problem is that she cannot find students who want to participate. I hear that all year. So we really have students who deserve a lot of admiration for hanging in there and wanting to do this. Congratulations, and we certainly wish you the very best as you proceed and go to the international. Thank
Yes,
you.
and Madam Chair, may I also have something? Yes, I would just like to say that I sneaked up on the robotics team in Maryland. They didn't know I was coming, so I was able to witness the competition at the University of Maryland, the Xfinity Center, and I was impressed with this group of students, I must say. Very engaging. They are a tight team. They network together, and I was able to watch them right after how they go back to simulation and break everything down, get it ready again. It was just really good to see. So I would like to congratulate this group of students.
Have a good trip.
Good luck with the book.
Yes.
Let's give him another round of applause. Madam, yes, ma'am, thank you. Madam Chair, the second bullet under good news is the alumnus of the month. This month, we would like to feature Dr. Mitchell Goodman. Dr. Goodman was born and reared in Franklin, Virginia, and he is especially proud to have been a member of the EVMS family since 1996. After briefly making it out of the state to attend the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, he matriculated into EVMS as a member of the medical class of 2000. Subsequently, he completed his internal medicine residency and served 1 year as chief resident and clinical instructor prior to joining the faculty in July 2004. In addition to general internal medicine, his special interest in the longitudinal care of adults with sickle cell disease, and along with one of his partners, he has helped to form the Sickle Cell Disease Management Program at EVMS, where he seeks to expand access to improve the care for this patient population. He has been active in research related to sickle cell disease and is currently involved in both NIH and industry-funded projects. Outside the clinical area, his passion is medical education. He has served as co-director of the M1 Introduction to the Patient course since 2007. After 7 years as an associate program director of the internal medicine residency, he took over as program director in 2012. In this capacity, he strives to create a supportive and rich academic environment, allowing his residents to flourish and prepare them to carry the torch of health care for generations to come. Once again, we would like to applaud the efforts of one of our own, Dr. Mitchell Goodman.
Does anybody remember the year that he graduated from Franklin High School? 1992. Oh, wonderful. Oh, how nice. I'm glad that I asked. Terrific. And matriculated at University of North Carolina, then to Eastern Virginia Medical School in Norfolk. That's wonderful. How nice. Does he ever come back to Franklin? Great. So then that could be a resource for a person in our classrooms. Terrific. Thank you.
Very good. Next bullet under good news. This is just an FYI for the board and the community to inform the board and the community that I have been nominated to serve on the board of directors for Opportunity, Inc. Opportunity, Inc. is an organization that we've been working diligently with this year as we look at to expand our workforce and economic development in our school system as well as Franklin City. I am proud to accept this honor, and I look forward to serving the residents and the community and the school system of Franklin City. I would want to, my hat goes off to Sean Avery, who is the president of this organization, and I assure you that I will represent well.
Thank you. And congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Yes.
So your meetings are still in Norfolk, are they not still in Norfolk?
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful.
Mrs. Wade, teacher and student attendance.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, board members, colleagues, and Franklin community. It's my honor to recognize the best teacher attendance and the best student attendance for the month of March 2015. I'll ask the principals to step forward, please.
Congratulations, Mrs. Francis. Yes, and we didn't note that Mr. Phelps had a bug that hit his school during the month of March. Citizens' time. All right, no one to speak, thank you. So, consent agenda, action to approve minutes. Would you like to approve, if you have no corrections to either of the minutes, we have two, one for March 10 and one for March 19. Is there any motion to approve both if there are no corrections to either?
Madam Chairman, I make a motion to approve the minutes for March 10th and the 19th.
Properly moved in second that we approve the minutes of March 10th and March 19th. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion is carried. Okay, Ms. Austin's name. You've carried, that motion, so. What we
Technically, what you need to do is rescind the motion and then do a new motion.
So, if we rescind the motion, is someone who will withdraw the second?
Well, it's not, it's actually a new motion, but I could help you with the lead.
Okay.
I make a motion to rescind the motion
Gotcha.
that adopted the minutes of March
the
10th.
10th and 19th.
And then you would need a
Right.
second to that motion.
All right. Is there such a motion? To rescind the minutes? All right. Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Properly moved in second that we rescind the motion where we approve the minutes of March 10th and March 19th. Is there any discussion? So then we'll make that correction, but we'll have to do it through a motion. So there's a motion on the floor. All in favor of the rescinding of that motion? Aye. Vote. You
Aye.
have to vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, the motion is carried. So the motion, the minutes have been, our action has been rescinded. So let's go back and take the motions for each of those minutes separately. So we'll start with March 10th.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion to approve the minutes for March 10th with the correction of adding Mrs. Austin to the attendance.
It's properly moved in second that we approve the minutes of March 10th by adding, with the addition of Mrs. Austin for attendance to those, to that particular meeting. You've heard the motion. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So, opposed? The motion is carried. March 19th minutes.
I second.
Properly moved in second that we approve the March 19th minutes. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion is carried. So both sets of minutes have been approved. Action to approve bills for payment. So you have your vouchers as attached.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion to approve the vouchers for March.
Been properly moved in second that we approve the vouchers for March. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
The motion is carried. Report of the superintendent and state of the college address, and that's by Dr. Tara Atkins Brady. Would you like to speak to that, Dr. Bell?
Yes, ma'am. At this time, we would like to call Dr. Brady forward to give us a state of the college address that is usually performed for the board each year. Also, I will let Dr. Brady, in her own form and fashion, introduce our new president.
Thank you, Dr. Bell. Madam Chair,
Yes.
Vice Chair, and members of the board, thank you so much for this opportunity to come and talk to you a little bit about the things that are going on at Paul Buchanan Community College. First, before I begin the presentation, it's my special privilege to introduce Dr. Bill Aiken, our new interim president of Paul Buchanan Community College.
Thank you. I'd quickly tell you that I come from Clinton, North Carolina, which is a matter of fact where your superintendent comes from. So we've already established a relationship there. I understand it's traditional for the president to come and talk to you about the community college. I've now completed my 9th day on the job and know little about what's going on so far. So I did ask Dr. Brady to come with me and make that presentation. I would simply say that I understand that there's been a very strong relationship between the community college and the public schools here, and I certainly hope to foster that. I have a great appreciation for where you come from. I started my career as a 7th grade self-contained classroom teacher many, many years ago. So I understand the chore that you have and the responsibility you have. I'd be glad to entertain any questions. I spent, before I came here, 12 years as president of Sampson Community College, a stint at 2 other community colleges in North Carolina in interim positions. So I'm kind of affectionately known in North Carolina as Rena President. So I guess that's now what I'm going to be in Virginia. But Dr. Brady will talk a bit about that, and if I can expand on any of those things, I'll be happy to do so.
Paul Buchanan Community College has been around since 1970. As I think you all know, the college is named after a man who is honored for his contribution to the region's development. The land for the Franklin campus was donated by his family. We also have another campus in Suffolk and a center in Smithfield, and most recently the Franklin Workforce Development Center, which is one of the most used buildings, I think, in the community, 24/7, 365. That was opened in December of 2001. Our mission remains the same: to provide diverse learning opportunities to enhance the quality of life for students and the community. This mission is very well aligned with the new strategic mission and goal of the Virginia Community College system, which is to lead the Commonwealth in the education of its people by tripling the number of credentials awarded for economic vitality and individual prosperity. Paul Buchanan Community College is a member of the Virginia Community service area is comprised of the cities of Franklin and Suffolk, and the counties of Southampton and Isle of Wight. This chart shows the percentage of students from each part of our service area. You'll see that Franklin City, residents of Franklin City comprise approximately 16% of our overall student body at the college. Of this enrollment, it's a diverse enrollment. About 2/3 are female, about 2/3 are part-time students taking courses for credit. We're also diverse in terms of race and age, with about 1/3 of our students age 17 and under. Those are primarily the dual-enrolled homeschool students who come to us for college-level coursework. 1/3 the traditional age student, and another 1/3 age 25 and older. We do quite a bit of dual enrollment in the service region, and we're very pleased to have dual enrollment agreements with all of the public schools and 2 of the private academies in our region. Highlighted for you is the fall 2014 enrollment in dual enrollment from Franklin High School. We had 27 of your students enrolled in dual enrollment courses with us, and we hope to grow that. And we also appreciate the flexibility and the partnerships that Franklin City Public Schools has with us and with Southampton County, as you both bring students to our campus to take courses during the week with us, as well as hosting those classes in your school building. On the flip side of that, the dual enrollment students, they're ready for college early. We also have a large percentage of students who come to us not quite ready for college level English and mathematics. And so of all the first time in college students, about 58% of them last fall were taking at least one developmental course with us. And of the first time in college right out of high school students, that number was 67% needing developmental coursework in English, reading and writing, or mathematics. Usually it's the mathematics, more so than the English. Next, you see our enrollment over the last 5 years. It's no secret that our enrollment has been declining, but we are certainly taking steps to improve that situation for the college. And I want to share with you some information about 2 ladies that your high schools and other high schools in the service region interact with quite a bit. On the left, we have Candace Artis. She is a full-time high school career coach and also a high school career coach supervisor. She splits her time between Franklin High School and Southampton High School. And on the right, we have Jeanette Pellegrin. She is our full-time dual enrollment coordinator. The college made an investment in a full-time employee to fill that role last year, and she's doing a fantastic job. She interfaces with the principals and guidance counselors in the high schools to make sure that the dual enrollment program is running smoothly for the students and the teachers and the administrators. Once we get students, just like you all, we like to keep them till we finish. And so we keep track of our retention rates. The retention rate for first-time students from fall to spring semester is about 70%. That's pretty good, and just a little bit less than the overall VCCS rate, which is in the red line on the chart. However, we also want to keep them not just semester to semester, but year to year, and we keep track of that as well. And that rate is a little bit lower. That's around about 50% almost. But it is lower than the VCCS rate, and so we're keeping tabs on that, and we really want to improve it as well. So we have a number of student services available, not just to our students, many of them available to the community at large. We have those high school career coaches that I mentioned. We also have success coaches for students at risk, career and job placement coaches on both those awards, 43 were made to residents of the city of Franklin. You can see the pie chart there. Another interesting bit of information in the next chart, of all the residents of Franklin City who attended college in 2013-14, almost half of them came to Paul Buchanan. We're very proud of that number. I'm very pleased that so many of the city residents are coming to Paul Buchanan Community College. And I want to close by introducing you to a couple of residents of the city of Franklin. This is Allie Best. She's a general studies major and first generation student at the college. She's also a vice president of our SGA, and she served on various committees and represented the college at the General Assembly in Richmond. She's a volunteer, and she also works 2 part-time jobs while going to college. After graduating, she plans to transfer to a 4-year college or university and go into graphic design. Next, let me show you Ellis Trey Cofield, also of the city of Franklin. You might recognize this young man because I believe he's volunteering here at J.P. King Middle School. He's president of our Student Government Association. He too is a first-generation student. He's a work-study student at Paul Buchanan, and he is an alumnus of our Upward Bound program through which he took full enrollment courses. He has held numerous leadership positions at the college and in the community, and he's earned many honors and awards. He's majoring in education. He plans to continue his education, attaining a master's degree in education administration and supervision. So perhaps one day he will work for you or for me. Finally, I'll close with a few quotes. We always ask our graduates to complete this sentence on a survey. PDCC is light. These are some of my favorites. It's like gum stuck to your shoe, keeps you grounded. It's like a big gumball machine of knowledge. You have to put something in to get something out. It's a second chance. As you build dreams, builds hope for a better tomorrow. It's like store brand products. Cheaper, gets the basic job done. And it's like a mountain. The climb might be long and difficult at times, but it is all worth it when you reach the top. I think we share that goal for our students. We want it to be worth it for them. We want them to reach the top. I thank you all for your partnership with us, and we look forward to continuing that through a variety of amazing programs in our community. Thank you.
May we ask questions, Dr. Brady? Don't dare pass up on this opportunity, and welcome to Franklin, Dr. Aiken. Met you on your first day when you were here, and so glad that you're here this evening. All students are still required to take the college entrance exam, are they not? In order for our students to enroll at college, they have to take a college entrance exam.
We do have a placement test, a Virginia
Yes.
placement test, and for dual enrollment students, they need to place as college ready in reading, writing, and mathematics. The test we give students for general entry into the college differentiates. It's a placement assessment that tells us whether they are ready for college level or if they need to be placed into a developmental course, and if so, which course.
And my question relates to what I sometimes have experienced as a need for students to probably get some support in that particular instrument, familiarity, and I was wondering, for our juniors, if there's any way, we don't already do it, Mr. Phelps, I don't know if we do it or not, to have something that happens with our students, maybe with personnel from the college, that would enable them to become familiar with that particular test or procedure. I think if we did that, as we're increasing the number of students from high school who are now going probably to the community college, if we did it with I don't even know if it would be maybe the sophomore class. Yeah, I mean, it would be good, I think, with your presence here in the city, if probably we could do that at one of those lower grades, so that our students will understand what is required for that transition from the high school with success to the college. And I don't know if we're doing something, but I would think that we would certainly invite your staff into our school, maybe to do something of that nature.
I think that there are a couple of ways that we could respond to that in class. We do have practice tests for the VPT, and we could certainly make those available to students. If we wanted to have them take the Virginia placement test so that they would know where they scored and how far they needed to go, for example, to be college ready by the time
I mean, if they pass it here, even if they went to four-year university, right, or high school, then they have already taken it and completed it. Is that not true?
The VPT is specific to community colleges. I will say, though, that for students who take the SAT or the ACT, those scores can be used in lieu of the Virginia Placement Test to determine college readiness, as can certain scores on the PSAT. So it might be that not all of your students need to take the VPT if they have scores from one of those other assessments.
One other question, certification. I talked to one of your students, most impressive student today, just happened to see the student, didn't even know the name, in Food Lion. And he told me that he's enrolled at Pauley Camp completing a certification in computer repair. And I found that to be so impressive. Didn't even know that the college offered a certification in that program. And then I started thinking, well, we don't even know what the certification programs are that you offer. And we have so many students in high school who might be interested in taking that type of transition from high school to a college. And if we knew your certified programs, I don't know, it might help us some. Does everybody know what they are? Oh, you know what they are. Wonderful. So, but I would like to see a listing somewhere. I mean, I think that would be wonderful, even for adult education or whatever, if we had maybe something that specifies what those certification programs are.
Certainly, I'd be happy to share with you a list of the career studies certificates and other programs that some of your students would like to pursue.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any?
Yes, my question is, on the last page, now, are there more than what you've already provided? Because here it says career studies. Is it something different?
That is the list I was
So
thinking of.
she gave us the listing.
Oh, she did.
It's on the last page.
listing of the certifications. One I didn't
Did you
even
get
look
that,
at.
Madam Chairperson? Look on the last page,
Is this? Oh, yes, I see it now.
the last page.
On the very last page.
Yes, she
So
did
the
provide it.
career studies.
Mhm.
Okay, and these are the ones for certification.
Those are the credit career studies certificates. There are also some certifications that are offered through workforce development.
Yes, and that, I think that that's what I'm interested in knowing also, because we don't know those certified programs into which our students might be able to transfer from, from college through the Workforce Development Center.
Okay.
If we could get those, yes, by all means.
I'll ask Mr. Betts to
Thank you.
share that list with you.
Thank you so very much. Does anyone else have a question?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Dr.
so
Brady.
much for coming.
Bag.
Yes.
Madam Chair, board members, the principal's monthly report has been afforded for your purview. Any questions on the principal's monthly report at this time?
Does anyone have any questions or comments, Principal's monthly report? I've already been told not to talk a long time, and I'm not going to do that this evening. But I do have, you know, when the concern surfaces, then I think that we as board members do have to address it. And when I looked at the monthly reports, you know, I've been talking about reentries versus withdrawals. And we're coming to the end of this academic year, and there is a big deficit there between the reentries and the withdrawals during the year. Withdrawals a little high. So I wanted to just ask the board members, being I only don't have one vote, if you have that concern, would you like to see or request maybe that we ask Dr. Bell to organize an internal committee that consists of teachers, administrators, and whomever, to look at this as a concern and just maybe look at investigating and study to see if there is something that we can do to reduce that deficit. And maybe next year we will not have this occurrence. I mean, that's just my suggestion. Is there any board member who challenges that or would not like to see that happen at all?
I would like to see what the reasons are. Do we need to have a committee for that, Dr. Bell? Is that something that
schools, the counselors do. Because generally when a student withdraws, we get information on where they are attending, or the reason, if they have a transition to another school system, or they're transitioning out of the state, or what have you. That information, generally, they're supposed to fill out a form, and we can pull that.
And I was thinking more or less about investigating and studying. I think that there's more here than just the reason, and I'll tell you why I have that concern, because I know that teachers also impact these children every day in the classroom, and they understand things that maybe we have not heard, things that happen that we don't even begin to understand. But if the teachers and maybe an administrator or two were to work together and look at this issue, then maybe everybody will know that it's our business. We talk about building relationships. We talk about other things that could impact this particular occurrence. And that's why I thought a committee consisting of faculty, consisting of representatives from total faculty. If it involves everybody, then everybody gets concerned, and everybody gets behind the issue, and we see results, positive results. Is there anyone else who has an opinion? Is there anyone who feels? I do, I understand, right. I don't know, right. Yeah. Right, we don't know if that's right, and that's.
So I guess my question is, Dr. Bell, do we already have a question on the form, the withdrawal form that asks, are you leaving the area? Do we already have a question?
Yes, we have to place that information in our system, because when we do, if, let's say for instance, you are in the 9th through the 12th grade, and you are part of a cohort, we need to make sure we know where you are, so you can fall off, or we can remove you from our cohort, because that's going to affect our graduation rate. So yes, we do have codes, state codes, that we address. W880 usually is the code for withdrawing somewhere else, and we know where you are, where you're going, because we have to identify that. Every year, Mr. Phelps updates, it's basically twice a year. Most of the time around November, and the second time is coming up at the end of April in SSWS, and then that third time is in July, because that's going to affect his graduation rate.
Maybe for the next board meeting, can you maybe bring us, some information on who's withdrawn because they are moving out of the area and who have just withdrawn?
Now, would you like to see it by our graduating class, this cohort? Or you want the 9 to 12 cohort, or do you want middle school, elementary?
Well, if we're having we're having withdrawals from all three schools, I'd like to see it from all three schools, if it's not too, too much of a pain or complicated or whatever, just because I don't want to form a committee until we know what the reason
right, we will look at collecting that information, and we will attach it to the student attendance part of our closed session, so you'll see all of that information. Okay?
Wonderful. Great discussion. We need to look at it and see what happens from there. All right. Thank you.
Student liaisons. Mr. Ballard.
Good evening.
Good evening.
For Esmond Elementary School, parent tutoring occurs every Thursday from 3:45 to 4:30. Family SWL night will be held at Esmond next Tuesday, April 21st, to encourage early literacy. Students and administrators are in a race to the test mode with 24 days left until SWL testing. There will be a second accelerated reading celebration on Friday, April 17th, and the kindergarten registration will take place on Thursday, April 21st, from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. For J.P. King Middle School, the intramural basketball games ended last night and was a huge success. Parents as partners was held tonight prior to the board meeting, as you all saw. Western Tidewater held a shootout on Saturday, March 28th. It was a great day with over 150 students. 8th graders completed writing SLO on March 26th. Students were tested and weighed. Type 2 students visited the Appomattox Regional Government School on March 17th. Students had a great time. On March 24th, the Suffolk Cultural Arts visited our 6th and 8th graders with a performance that was enjoyed by everyone. On April 3rd, Upward Bound from Paul D. Kemp Community College visited 8th graders for an information session. J.P. King is busy now preparing for SWL testing, which is right around the corner. And the first Odyssey team competed in March and did very well. They are already playing for next year. And last but not least, for Franklin High School, spring sports are in full swing and are doing very well. As a matter of fact, the girls soccer team just celebrated their first victory.
Yes. Got one.
Students who were enrolled in the government class this semester were invited to attend the AIDS and Issues Community Leadership Breakfast. The Student Government Association is fundraising to raise money for the Junior Diabetes Research Foundation. For SCA, one of our students has junior diabetes and wants to bring awareness, and we are raising money by selling shoes. You can put them on the wall if you know someone who has diabetes in general. You can buy shoes for $1 and write their name and list on the wall across our school. And on April 25th, we'll be having a walk on our track for junior diabetes. It's from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And the book club and SBA went to the local radio station downtown. We feature on this segment dedicated to spreading good news at local schools.
So wonderful things are happening in the schools. Great.
Thank you, Mr. Ballard.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, board members, professional development law has been provided for you. Any questions on our development law at this time?
So everybody's quite busy, and I'm impressed with the number of recruiting initiatives. And it seems like it has gotten started early, Mrs. Wade. Very good. Quite a number. Any other comments? Truancy data.
Yes, ma'am. Truancy data, board members, Madam Chair, any questions on the March 2014 truancy report? Okay. Madam Chair, board members, Ms. Yates will come forward with our monthly financial report. Ms. Yates.
Good evening.
Good
Evening.
evening.
You have before you the March revenues and expenditures for the general fund as well as the federal fund, and you have the February revenue and expenditures for the cafeteria funds, and there's
thank you for the spreadsheet on QZAP funds. Terrific. That gives us a good way. And I wanted to ask another question about the granted federal programs, Title I, Title II. That's usually reported to us just as a line item type of format. Is there any need, Dr. Bell, to break those out? I know that that's the way it has always been done, but as you go down the road and you read things and you realize how some things can slip through the crack, and then the school board is responsible for all of the expenditures, all of the revenues, do we need to break those out as well, just as we're doing QZAP funds? That's just the question.
Right now, as we have it, it shows, unless the will of the board wants to see other expenditures, but right now it shows and gives us a running total of what we are doing in each Title I, Part A, Title II, which is our teacher quality, our Carl Perkins funds, our rural and low-income funds, the basic aid of adult preschool. It gives us a general analysis now of what we are doing. Right now, our maintenance of effort, as we look at operating over top of, as we compare that to our Title I, we are well above our maintenance of effort. Right now, we are doing well, but if the will of the board wants to see more other than this, then we can look at how we can prepare more for you. But right now, we are trying to follow all of the guidelines to make sure that we spend that Title I money and the other monies like we should.
And that was my point. I think you stated it very well. When I look at the MOU and I see the activities, but it's no way for us to compare the activities with the dollars. I mean, and it's fine. I know that when you get your title money, I know that it comes to you itemized as what for personnel, how much are you going to spend for that, how much you allocate for all those other areas. And I was just wondering, as we move forward, and that's just a question, if we were to do it next year, using that form within itself, is it any way would it be burdensome or too time consuming each month for you to get that into the financial report? I know you have those categories for
Right.
spending. I know you have those, and that's my question.
We can take a look at it to
Yes.
see how lengthy that would be. Once we break it all down, we can take a look at it, because each category generally, correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. McCall, has about 8 components.
Yes,
From
it
1,000
does.
to 8,000, those
Right.
line items.
Mhm.
So it can be quite lengthy, but if that's the will of the board, then we will do it.
And I was just wondering, it's something that we might want to look at next year. Let's
Okay.
put it out there and we'll see.
Well, maybe we can create a draft of what it would look like, so then you can see that if we want to start that July 1.
Yes,
Okay.
because we're getting so many monies with so many responsibilities, and it's it's possible for something to slip through the cracks.
Yes, ma'am.
And then we're not aware of it. But if we get a report monthly, then we know what is going on in terms of the correlation of expenditures and the activities as you itemize in so very well. You do it well, the activities. Then you give us the financials, but we can't correlate.
Okay. Ms. Yates, we'll work on that. All right. Fine with the board to have it back for May, just to show you the draft template? Okay.
That'll be good. That would be. Superintendent's report.
Thank you, Ms. Yates. Madam Chair, board members, you have the monthly memorandum of understanding that has been provided for you. under our 4 actions stemming from the corrective action plan of curricular alignment, human resources, purpose and direction, and leadership and governance. Any questions and additional activities beyond the scope of the MOU? Any questions at this time for the team?
Give me a minute. I was trying to load again.
Is there any questions?
As my question would be to Dr. Bell, is this information reported to VDO, or this is just something that you're keeping up with it and compiling the data?
Where we're compiling this data is for you all, but also we have our quarterly reviews that are coming up, and within the technical amendment that was done, that was approved, when myself, Dr. McCall, and Mr. Edwards, along with Mrs. David, meet with Mrs. Grable on the 27th, we have to show evidences of completions of these essential actions. So a lot of this information that you see before you is data compiled for those evidences that we present at the quarterly review.
Okay, and then I guess my question would be, when you present it to them as evidence, do you present it to them in this form, in this format, or is it presented to them in a different format?
In a different form.
Okay.
Any other question or comment?
The Title III audit that just happened, is that the audit, the money used, is that what they're auditing?
Dr. McCall, you want to speak on that?
Good evening, Madam Chair, Vice Chair,
Good
board
evening.
members,
Good evening.
Dr. Bell. You know I have to go through this. My community and my colleagues, the audits basically look at everything, all aspects of the program. They look at the money, they look at the services, they look at any type of local plan, they look over the application again, they look at any professional development. Then at the end, they determine if there are any things that need to be added to what we are already doing. So I'm waiting for the official report, but preliminarily, I could say that they indicated that we are in a good place, that we're moving forward. And we should be pleased with the report when it comes to that. But it looks at more than the money, the entire program, credentials of the teachers, everything.
So may we see the results from you?
Of course, from all of the audits. Once I receive the written reports, we will receive them.
That was done electronically?
Yes.
I was impressed when I saw there was.
We had to download all of the evidence, well, upload it, I guess, and send it to them electronically. And then we talked on the phone, and we put all the evidence up on the screen, and we went through it together.
That was wonderful.
So we've had 3 audits this year, and we're waiting for the information from those audits to arrive.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Dr. McCall, I do have one. Do you have a team working with you, or are you primarily responsible for this?
With regards to the audit?
Yes, to the audit.
Basically, depending upon the audit, I know which persons to target to assist me
Okay.
with compiling it. This year, I've created a federal program team so that we can stay on top of those things, because most of the audits are a mandate from the federal government for all of the funding that they are providing.
Okay, and your team consists of?
Our team consists of the ESL teacher, Ms. Kerr. We have a representative from J.P. King, which is Ms. Mahoney, the reading specialist, a representative from S.P. Morton, Laura Vick, and Ms. Kerr works at the high school as well, so she represents the high school as well as ESL. Ms. Hollington Vaughn and Ms. Shakita Seaborn, who are both working with the parental involvement piece, and Ms. Sabrina Beeman, who works with the exceptional education to make sure we have all components covered.
Thank
this time, I would like to call Mrs. Kathy David forward, so be ever so ready, Ms. David. Be ever so ready, just in case the board has some questions. And would you elaborate on the process of the quarterly review?
Good evening. Good evening. Everything, members of the board, of course, Dr. Bell. It's great to be back in my new hometown of Franklin.
Thank you.
And so, yes, the good news is there is an approved corrective action plan, which I was telling Dr. Bell today, or maybe I was telling Dr. McCall that I just need to rerun that tape. This section was really fun to watch. So now we have a very focused corrective action plan, or we have the goals that are prioritized, and all of you have had copies of that. And my work with Dr. Bell this week and with others is looking at those 8 essential actions down from, I lost count at the previous group, but looking at those 8 essential actions. And in that far right column, it says evidence. So there is the objective of what we're going to do. There are the people assigned who are responsible for each of those essential actions, and then there's a process to meet quarterly with Ms. Rabel and the Office of School Improvement team to review the evidence of where there is an essential action around curriculum alignment. We have defined in that approved corrective action what would serve as evidence of that essential action taking place. And those are what Dr. Bell and his team, we reviewed those essential actions in the evidence list in our meeting yesterday, and we will be working with his directors to, delegate for each section what pieces of evidence will be collected. Keep in mind, this is a 3-year corrective action plan, if necessary. We hope not. But it's a 3-year corrective action plan, so it's not as if when we meet with Ms. Rabel and her team on April 27th that the expectation is every piece of evidence will be there. But what we have that we can bring and show that this is evidence that we're making progress towards that particular essential action. So you have that in the corrective action plan. The evidence is already spelled out, and that's what Dr. Bell and Ms. Rabel and I worked on in Richmond for a couple of days to what would be evidence of progress towards this essential action. So we will be collecting that. I will be back next week and offered my help to Dr. Bell to review what's been gathered to see if there are any suggestions of other things we might have. We have documentation. We'll be taking representative samplings of lesson plans. We'll be taking a representative sampling of observation reports on teachers as specified. We'll be taking probably the professional development plan that has been approved by this board. All of that is itemized as what would serve as evidence. So we'll be taking that forward. We'll get feedback and next steps from as a result of that meeting, and then we will return, I think, in June. So it's a quarterly meeting with the Office of School Improvement. Continued collaboration between the school division and Virginia Department of Education.
Are there questions or comments for Ms. David? On our way. We thank you for your presence in our system, all of your support and your contribution toward helping us to get to this point of having that blueprint for the education of our children here in the city of Franklin. We thank you.
My
so
pleasure.
much.
Thank you very much for
Thank
your
you.
support. And when I take my coat and leave in a few minutes, I'm not being rude. My husband's driving me home tonight, so thank you all.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. That concludes the superintendent's report, Madam Chair.
The next item on our agenda is that of the second reading, final approval policy BBDH. Mr. Williams?
Mrs. King, I am sorry, but I have not had a chance to put the information together that I had hoped of. So I would ask that you pass it one more month, and I will have the information for you in May.
That we carry this over until the May meeting. Is there a motion to do such?
Second.
It's properly moved in second that we carry over the final approval of policy BBDH until the May meeting. You've heard the motion. Is there a discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion is carried. Second reading of the final approval of the VS, and this is the final approval of VSBA policy revisions.
Yes, ma'am. This was presented to you at the March
you had an addition to that one. And see, most of these I noticed just had maybe a line drawn through or some corrected addition, but this one actually had an addition of an expectation for certification by us as a school division, and that was certification of the total number of teaching days and teaching hours by superintendent and school board chair. And then it says that this information goes into the annual report, which we know. But in as much as this is now an additional language, I think that we need to be able to document how we are measuring. We know that we have to have, 5.5 hours minimum devoted for instruction. But do we have anything showing that on our calendar, then on, I don't even know, if you know what I'm saying, Dr. Bell, so that we don't lose that in here. So at the end of the year, and we need to account for that and include it in our annual report, then there is follow-through throughout the year.
Yes, ma'am. On the calendar that was approved by the board, you saw where we had the actual teaching days of 180. You also saw at the bottom of the calendar or on the back side, it shows the hours of operation for each school, which that identifies how many hours we're in a day. The professional development days that we have to have in that calendar, they were color coded, so we would have all that, which would be in alignment with state code. So once we calculate all this time, and this is what we do when we're talking about making up our time, we take our days, multiply it times the number of hours we're in the building, and that can certify that we are above 990. If we have the inclement weather days, then we start subtracting that from our half days. We still want to make sure that we're above and have met our minimum of 990. So the calendar is one of the biggest pieces. That is our piece of evidence for that.
So we can just go through that information and then use that 5.5 hours for each class of course that you offer and calculate that. Great. We want to be sure that we can document the certification for that annual report. Any other questions? Yes, we need an approval of this policy, of the policy revisions.
Madam Chair, I make a motion. Is it appropriate at this time? I make a motion that we approve the VSBA policy with revisions.
Properly moved in second that we approve the revisions of the VSBA policy. You've heard the motion. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wade.
New business, the VSBA Business Honor Roll Resolution.
Madam Chair, board members, I would like to read the 2015 VSBA Business Honor Roll Resolution that identifies 3 businesses in the Franklin City community. Whereas public schools and local businesses are an integral part of this community, and whereas many local businesses play a crucial role in supporting our schools, and whereas the economic health of our community, state, and nation depends on a strong public school system, and whereas collaboration between local public schools and local businesses strengthens schools and the business community alike by providing a well-trained and highly educated workforce. And whereas an excellent public school system is vital to the quality of life in this community and fundamental to preserving a strong democratic society now and in the future. Therefore, be it resolved that the Franklin City School Board names Bronco Federal Credit Union, Bobby's Tire and Auto Center, and the Cover 3 Foundation to the 2015 Virginia School Boards Association Business Honor Roll, showing appreciation for the firm's ongoing support of this community's public schools. Your work has aided this community in focusing on the goal of providing the best public schools we can for every child who attends them. And this is a resolution recognizing these three businesses upon your approval to be added to the archives of the Business Honor Roll for 2015.
So.
Dr. Bell?
We need to adopt the resolution.
Madam Chair, may I ask, before we adopt the resolution, have we had one previously? Now, I'm the newest board member. Is this something we typically do?
That's a good question.
This is the first time
Okay.
since I've been on the board that we've done it. I haven't.
Okay.
See, because I haven't seen this before because this is one for the Virginia School Board Association.
Okay.
And we get an opportunity, I guess it has been done, we go there. We see where other school boards have done this, and there is usually a profile or something of one or two of the businesses that we recognize locally. So in the fall of the year, there might be a request for something of that nature, following up on this, Dr. Bill. I don't know if we are chosen that year. But I don't remember us ever adopting a resolution recognizing businesses as partners.
I just had one other question. How were the businesses selected?
Well, we gathered the names of those businesses that support our schools and looked at, from the principal's input, the information that was gathered, the ones, and most of the principals had provided more than 3 names.
Okay.
But we looked at and kind of gauged our largest support from these 3 businesses. Now, do know that, for the record, that we could have had a list really longer than this.
Right.
But they limited us to at just these 3. So as the years progress, we want to make sure we just continue to recognize those other businesses that are helping our school system. But we also started that recognition a couple of weeks ago by recognizing everybody with the volunteers. And a lot of them are part of that honor roll systemic.
I think is wonderful. Just wanted to know how you all arrived at those 3.
Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
Madam Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the resolution of the 2015 Virginia School Board Association Business Honor Roll.
Properly moved in second that we approve the 2015 Virginia School Boards Association Business Honor Roll. You've heard the motion. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion is carried. And these are 3 deserving businesses. And we know there could be more. You're right. And next year there's another opportunity. So that's wonderful. My question is this the original that you wish us to sign, or is there another?
Pam, I don't know if Pam has suggested.
Okay, this is the original. All right, so I shall sign last. I'll just pass it down to, on that end, and bring it back this way, then I'll sign. Thank you so much. While we are still signing, local plan for career and technical education, CTE Perkins Funds. We get to see Mrs. Conaway tonight.
We'd like the performance assessment, if you would look on page 1, the second page. As it relates to our academic attainment, which relates to our performance assessment. As you know, Virginia has agreed upon performance levels, and here are our levels, our actual levels for Franklin City Public Schools. And if you look at this document, we do recognize that we have opportunities for improvement as it relates to our technical skills attainment in the areas of the completers participating in credentialing tests. And that is at 89.5%, and we still want to improve that. Also, our technical skill, our test takers, is at 66.7. And
Good evening. Who has 1C? Table where the test taker is passing in the test. So that's where we have room for improvement. We have met all of
exam fund, we're also strengthening not only career technical education, we'll be partnering career technical education and academics together because we are definitely in the process of renovating the greenhouse at Franklin High School. And we will be bringing aquaculture and also hydroponics. And we have had a visit to Southampton High School. We're looking forward to a visit to Denwood High School. And also this will be a partnership with Virginia State University and Virginia Tech, but we can put biology, ecology together and actually watch those let it grow hydroponically. But that greenhouse is going to be a major component as we look in our core and looking at the possibility of bringing culinary arts back when you talk about marketing with the DECA program as well.
One more sheet we want to talk about, and that's the performance indicator for next year. We on page 3 that says 2014-15 performance assessment target sheet. But the state has already set up the performance indicators as this year's date on it. So that's what we're working on this year in order to meet the state indicators next year. So we already know what we have to work for next year. Because on page 3, those are the indicators that the state says how marks we must be, our benchmarks.
And along the accountability lines, we do have a Career Technical Education Advisory Board that meets, and they have reviewed the plan for upcoming next school year. The plan was approved by the Career Technical Education Advisory Board. Also, if you look on page 28, here is for Schedule 17 of the budget of the Perkins Fund.
And the budget, just to let you know how we have allocated the money for next year. So that's the proposal, spending the money. And as we get to next year, we need to make some major steps.
Madam Chair, Vice Chairman, Dr. Bell School Board, this is the Career Technical Education Plan for Franklin City Public Schools that we're presenting to you for your approval this evening.
You're looking for approval tonight?
Yes, it has to be an SSWS on April 30th. Yes.
I have a question. As you're working, you said you have a team or committee? All right, your advisory committee. My only question is, when you all meet, do you have like target dates, or have you set deadlines for some of these? Because I'm hearing a lot of information, a lot of things we're trying to do. For all of this, like if you have one particular goal, is a target date to reach that goal, or is this just for 1 year? This is for 1 year. So that means all of these things will be met. This is our goal, to meet all of these areas in a year. Okay. Okay, thank you. That's what I wanted to hear. Okay. Want to know are they obtainable goals? Okay. Okay.
And probably would be good to note that you schedule several meetings for the advisory council, and it snowed, starting back, I think, as early as January, and you had to cancel or postpone the meetings, and you could not reschedule until what, March 7th? It was March. Yeah. Yes, and that's why we're just getting it. Ordinarily, we probably would have gotten this plan in February, in the February or first in the March meeting, But because of snow and you couldn't meet, then that delayed that. So that's why they're coming with this plan this evening. But the plan looks very much like the plan has looked in the past, except for additional programs, the projection for that. So your additional programs for next year, culinary arts, the horticulture focus.
That's not our program.
That's not
Okay, so that didn't have to go in here.
No, but we do have HVAC.
You have HVAC.
Conditions and nutrition.
And I saw that one.
And is that a partnership? Excuse me. Okay. Well, that's what I was going to ask.
Carter
Okay.
can.
Okay.
Terrific. And you do so much with so little money. And we look at the performance and success of those students in Martin, Hosha, and all of those Korean technical areas when they compete with students from across the state, and the number of students who get to go to national competition with so little money. This is outstanding. I know that we supplement as a school division, but you look at us as being a small division. We don't get a lot of money through Carl Perkins. Very little money. What, $36,000 or $39,000 a year? You're doing very well. And that's what this is.
Students and teachers, they do a lot of fundraising too, you know, to supplement.
Right. So they do need approval this evening.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion to approve the local plan for career technical education, Perkins County.
I second.
Properly moved in second that we approve the plan for the career and technical education plan for our school division. You've heard the motion. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is carried. Thank you. Yes, Ms. Collins.
The signature sheet will be at the central office for you to sign.
All right, so I'll go back tomorrow. Will that be early? I'll do back tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Second reading, final approval, we've done the PSBA revisions, we did the honor roll, special education plan.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Dr.
the local special education annual plan, Part B, flow through application. This is another plan that generally doesn't have a lot of changes, just like the career and technical plan and the crisis plan and things of that nature. But for your purview tonight, we'll seek approval of this plan. I believe this plan is due, if I'm not mistaken, Dr. McCall, May 1? Okay, May 1. Dr. McCall, please come forward if there are any questions from the board on our local plan. And I know Mrs. Beeman has done some extensive work with her team on this. And Dr. McCall, catch you for Ms. Beeman tonight.
Okay, in looking at the flow plan, the only changes that are in here, and I just thought I would share from what was presented last year, what we're putting forward next year. All of the changes are based on a needs assessment in terms of the change in our student population and what we're going to be projecting is going to happen. The first thing is that we have increased the number of FTEs in special education. Previous application, we asked for 3 FTEs to be included in this flow-through application, and now we're asking for a half-time position to also be included into this application. We asked for 1 student assistant, which is like a one-to-one last year, because we had a student who required that, so I'm trying to be as confidential as possible because our populations are small. So we're increasing it by 1. So for the next year. And lastly, for summer school, we had 1 summer school paraprofessional or assistant, and we're asking for 2 for the upcoming year. So we haven't decreased any services, actually asking for more. And so we just wanted to know if this possibly could be approved. There's nothing in here significantly different other than the 3 things that I just outlined. There's still going to be professional development included in here. There's still monies for materials and supplies. There's still money for field trips, professional development. We're still going to include the 3 case managers that we've had before, 1 for each building. There's still the stipend in there for the Special Olympics. We had 2 in there, and nothing that has changed other than those 3.
Any comments, questions, anyone?
Yes, Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve the local special education annual plan Part B flow-through application.
Properly moved in second that we approve the local special education annual plan Part B flow-through application and the report. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you so very much, Dr. McCall. First reading overnight field trip request, Hosher.
Madam Chair, board members, the Hosier Club is asking permission to attend the National Leadership Competition and Interviewing the Skills, June 22nd through 27th. Ms. Phelps, if you would you step forward, and if there are any questions from the board, Mr. Phelps will pitch it to Ms. Kreider. And board members, if it's the will of the board, we could do a first and second reading and approve this so the team can prepare.
Yes.
But that's the will of the board.
We had one student qualify for the national competition, international, in Anaheim, California, from the state competition. So we're proud of her. Ms. Alexis Rogers is going to represent Franklin High School, along with her coach and sponsor, Ms. Robin Kreider. So that's what we're asking for approval for her to go to Anaheim.
And I'd like to point out that this student is competing in interviewing skills.
That's correct.
Because, many times we hear that we have a deficit when it comes to students being able to do interviews, and I was thoroughly impressed to know that you have a student at high school who placed second in the state in the category. Congratulations, and will you please congratulate a student for us? Would appreciate it. Right? First and second, it seems that all the information is here and has been signed by Mr. Phelps, the sponsor Phelps and Dr. Bell. And if you'd like to do this as a first and second, it's fine. Right? So a motion is in order. If you have no questions for Mr. Phelps. Okay, that we approve the overnight field request for Hosher 22nd through 27th. Is there a second? Properly moved second that we approve the overnight field request as a first and second reading for Hosher for June 22nd through June 27th. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The motion is carried. Right. Business by school board members. Important dates to remember.
Madam Chair, board members, on the important days to remember, there's one bullet. There is a new grant that is being initiated by the Office of School Improvement that provides those school divisions who fall under that umbrella of school improvement, that monies will be coming from the Office of School Improvement for board governance training. The opportunity to return to Charlottesville, we can turn that into our retreat day to be the night, and we can do it all in Charlottesville early, say this summer in August before the school year begins, and that's what I propose. So it won't affect everyone's schedule if you'd like. So what I have here to be discussed tonight does not have to be finalized, but I was looking at possibly the second week in August or the third week in August, somewhere around that, or the very beginning of August. I think Pam really did August 1st through the 4th or something like that. But it's also the will of the board and when you can become available. We wanted to bring it to your attention tonight that this is a grant that will not cost us anything because we will be afforded the money to attend the board governance training in Charlotte. It's a one day. So whatever date, just to keep it back, just to bring it to your attention, so the next meeting will be
Any other business by, yes.
I would ask, I asked her about Saturday because I know one time before we had talked about a Saturday, and that is a possibility because his money is his budget. So Gina, I know, had in the past, she said that she would do us on a Saturday as well. So if we are proposing a Saturday, we can look at that day too.
All right, anything else? I had one, let me go to business by school board members. Do you want to go to that next? Anyone? All right, I had, two things. And did the General Assembly recently, passed legislation make the expedited testing, retroactive for the elementary school and the middle school. And are we going to do this at the end of the SOL testing administration? All right, so are we ready, everything in place? Great. Great. So how do you get the money? Is the state, didn't the state say something about?
The state budget $200,000 in their budget to accommodate those expedited retakes as they occur for grades 3 through 8. So it's not monies that, it doesn't affect our operating budget, but for those students who need to retest, of course, Pearson charges the state money for those extra tests, and the governor placed $200,000 in the budget of BOE to accommodate any requests if there are retakes. Remember, those retakes have to be parent support. So if the child at least scores 375, and they do not meet the 400 mark, and the parent would like for them to retake, then they have the opportunity to do so. So we have put measures in place where we're receiving information back from our parents. If they decline, if the student does not pass the SOL, if they decline, then we will not have that kid retake the test. But if so, we will do the same procedures like we've always done at high school.
How are we making parents aware? Are you putting it in writing to them?
This is a letter going on.
Okay, wonderful. All right. And, pre-algebra, I think that I asked the question at last, has there been any, conclusion or any research done relative to that implementation in the middle school?
We started the conversation, Mrs. King, but however, we have not finished or finalized our research on that, but we will still look at that with the pre-algebra and those new questions that we're doing at the middle school. Dr. McCall, if you please, be there for May 4th. Okay, thank you.
And then we have the memorandum. Yes, Mr.
I'm sorry, Ms. King, at some point I'll ask a privilege, I wanted to bring something to the board's attention, but I think I should be last.
Is that dealing with the children's center?
Yes.
Okay, and that was next.
Okay.
Okay, let me be sure that no other board member.
I have one question for Dr. Bell. Mrs. King talked about pre-algebra for, I believe it's 8th grade?
I don't know, whatever they decide.
7th grade.
Whatever they decide.
Generally, we look at the
Right.
7th grade.
and maybe some kids who are ready in the 6th grade.
Yeah.
Okay, and I would just like for you, Dr. Bell, to explore, and I don't know how the other board members feel about it. I know the options for 8th grade students to possibly be able to take the PSAT, and usually the students are in high school, but to have that option for parents. I know currently the way it is, parents have to request through the counselor, but is it a possibility that we can open that window up, or open that possibility to all students as an option, versus parents having to be proactive to call because you can only take it once. I believe it's only offered in October. So if the parents are not aware and they're not keeping up with that, they could miss that deadline. So if there is a way, maybe in the newsletter, That would be Mrs. Francis. Okay, that's right. Is it possible that that information is shared with parents so that they have the opportunity? Doesn't have to be mandatory that all eighth grade students, but so that it's shared openly with all eighth grade parents. Okay.
Mr. Williams, you're on the agenda for the Children's Center Memorandum of Understanding.
Thank you, Mrs. King. Actually, my version does not have information on the MOU, so I'm not sure what the members' board books have. So,
Have what you said,
okay.
and the clock.
We're trying to go for members here. There's an opportunity, I think, for what we call a win-win-win situation state that if it gives a feeling of safety as a safety net, but really and truly the school division has no ownership interest in it, so you really don't have to require somebody else to have insurance on it.
And that's all we're proving is that they can use it.
You're just gonna give them a lease to have the trailer on the property, which right now the Children's Center has a lease to have it on the property. That's what the MOU is. You're just changing tenants, for lack of a better term, what you're doing is you're changing tenants. Only the savings to the Children's Center, because we all know they have a tight budget. You save them the expense of actually having to demo and remove the trailer from the school division property if you wanted to push the issue.
My concern is the age of the trail. And it has been without occupancy now for about 2 years.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
that hasn't helped at all. It is an eyesore in the community. And I don't believe that we're going to want to keep the trailer for that, when the Hayden building has been renovated. I think that we owe it to the city to make that area look as good as we possibly can. Because now you're gonna have, the Martin Luther King Center, you're gonna have a newly renovated Hayden facility, and to keep that trailer there is gonna be an eyesore. So somewhere in the negotiations, if we're going to keep it on the site for the contractor to use at completion, I don't know, this is my opinion. Why could we not ask the contractor to be responsible for moving the trailer?
Well, that's what I said in the win-win-win scenario.
So we're,
One of the requirements we
Right.
would make of the contractor is that upon completion of the phase
Right.
one, there's gonna be a phase one
Yes.
and phase two.
yes, yes.
So completion of the phase one, which is the current plant, the current facility without any improvements, the contractor would have to remove the trailer from the premises.
Right, so that's in,
Well, no, you just, I gave you the old MOU just so you would know
right,
why, have some idea why all this is occurring. There will be a new MOU, which I would like to bring to you at your next meeting.
wonderful, because I didn't see that in here, that's why I brought that up.
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful, so that would be written, and I think that would be an enhancement for the community, and I agree with you, if that happens, it's a win-win situation for everyone.
So I,
No,
I would,
we need an MOU.
I would suggest this, Chairman.
I don't think there's anybody, I'm not,
In that lane, could we put, and this, you would know a little bit more than me, but on that property, in that verbiage, could it state if someone, not inside the trailer, but once they step out of the trailer, and they step on our grounds, and they step in a rabbit hole, and they twist that ankle, we don't assume any liability for that. That's you.
and I think it would be simple to have them extend the fence. I don't know if you've been out there
I saw the
recently,
fence,
but
yeah.
they have
saw it too.
fenced in, if you follow the fence line, that's actually the property line between what I refer to as the Hayden property and the school division property. And so, there is a baseball diamond there that has a fence that typically goes with a baseball diamond. I think it would be simple enough to simply extend that fence to Oak Street,
take a look at it. I got an idea. I got an idea. I got an idea. Yeah, I got an idea. I got an idea.
Twitter. How about Twitter and all of the compliments that I want to mention that the robotics team got from people everywhere. Oh, that was wonderful. I mean, so many, so many people congratulated them. I thought that was fantastic. And Mr. White, don't forget that students do use cameras in the cafeteria. Just saying that, so I tell you, forget that. Yes.
We eat better than that, baby.
All right. So is there anything else? Thank you all so very much. Good meeting. Maybe have a motion for adjournment if there's nothing else.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Properly moved in second that we adjourn. You've heard the motions. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion is carried, and this is the meeting. Thank you all.